Avasarai Bhante.
Yep.
We have received about 9 reports today.
Yep.
Report number 1. This has 3 parts, Bhante. I will read one by one. Most Venerable Bhante, walking meditation. I stood at the beginning of the walking path before starting to walk. I felt the weight of my body to my feet. I felt the weight everywhere to the sole of the foot. After about 30 seconds, I started walking. I could feel the weight of my body and the softness of the feet. I could feel the weight of my body. The softness of the feet, I was transferring, and it was transferring to my left and right feet alternatively. The weight of the right foot was always more than the left foot. I could feel the weight of the body in my heel, inner arch to the ball of the foot, and up to 3 to 4 toes, including the big toe when walking. Sometimes I kept the left foot forward and sometimes the right after standing at the end of the walking path, and this was thoughtless. After a few minutes, I sensed decreased feelings of the toes and later could not feel the toes. I felt the weight of the body less than earlier when I stood at the end of the walking path. Sometimes I realized I have forgotten to stand at the end of the walking path, and that was a time when an outside random thought came to my mind, but that did not affect my meditation. At the end, I was feeling happy in my mind as I could sense a good feeling to my feet. That's a walking meditation.
Okay. I think you are doing well. Only thing is it turns into more towards the concentration. So you are getting to some tranquil state. So mind become more tranquil and body also become lighter. So that indicates certain amount of development of the concentration. And little bit, if you like, you can introduce more investigation into the picture, because now you don't need to note verbally. You can simply say with quiet mind you can start investigation, and more details if you are able to retrieve, then that improves the that yoniso manasikara side, the wise reflection side, or you can say the investigation side.
Sitting meditation, I was focusing on the breath. It was subtle at the start, but after a few minutes I could feel the movements of the upper part of the body. When breathing in, I could feel the air flowing in 4 parts. When breathing out, in 2 parts or 1. My mind was observing. More sensations coming and fading away in different parts of the body. These were very fine ones and sometimes lasted only for few seconds. Later, I could feel a very fine vibration, a sensation on my cheeks, within brackets, both left and right. And later only in my right cheek. My mind was observing. When it started coming. 2, and observed when I was feeling it. 3, I tried hard to concentrate to the moment it is disappearing, but managed to succeed only twice. I observed there were rough vibrations and also sometimes very fine vibrations. Then day-to-day activities.
Yeah, this is fine. So you have done pretty well. The sitting session, various sensations are there. You have noticed them, able to locate your attention there, and again experience it, investigate it. That part has done pretty well. Yeah.
Day-to-day experience. Recently, I had to go for a medical examination, and I was observing my heart was pounding heavily when the patient before me was called to the scanning room. I knew this was happening because of fear and tried to think I will face whatever comes. But still I could feel my heart pounding heavily in fear of the medical test. The test was okay, but still I think, how will I face the situation if the test results were bad? Thero and Saranai.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So thanks for sharing it. So that is how the fear being generated. So we have a lot of uncertainties about the future or future event. And we proliferate, we imagine, and we assess the situation, and most probably our prediction may be kind of towards the negative side, but we have to convince ourselves, okay, it can be to the positive side as well. So when we produce it to the negative side, basically the fear improves, fear increases, and you feel frightened. So the being afraid is in a way a part of defilements. So you know that typically we don't think that being afraid is a result of a defilement. Typically we think it's as a kind of a genetic or some sort of human error or something like that. So we feel that is more inherent type of a characteristic. But how that can be improved or increased, aggravated as a result of our conceptualizing it, kind of adding our own fears and our judgments, prejudices, everything into it, that will aggravate the situation. This is the time actually you need to look at the mind very carefully. So how I am weaving thoughts into this upcoming situation. Now you can imagine various things. You can imagine various, say, mostly to the bad side. We are imagining, and again we've been frustrated and we feel afraid. We feel sort of unrest. So these kind of different defilements may be further aggravated because of our conceptual proliferation. This is actually a difficult part. So I can remember, I mean, when I have to face a certain thing, so how the mind is trying to make it something. So rather than maintaining that calmness in the mind, so mind makes it something, maybe a difficult thing, maybe a adverse thing, mostly into the negative side, thinking it's as a devil type of thing. So that makes the whole thing more difficult. So how our mind is contributing towards the improvement of this fear is something we need to recognize. So if we are able to minimize that, then the this fear may be reduced. So you can go through the situation also with a calm, relaxed mind. Actually, that is really helpful, because that is one part of the Satipatthana practice. So as we develop mindfulness, the body awareness will be improved, and then the self-awareness will be improved. You can recognize various emotions. So these kinds of various thoughts which are promoting some sort of inner conflict, fear, anger, worry, etc. And if we are able to recognize those thoughts, contributing thoughts, then we can slowly abandon them, so that the situation will be unfold, but with a calm mind, at least kind of a relaxed mind. Then you will understand, okay, I haven't made any new additions to the situation, or I am just continuing as it is, without adding my own parts, without having my own judgments. So if you can look at your mind, how mind is fabricating thoughts, then that's a very good thing, so that you can abandon it, go through the examination or whatever it is, and then you will be more relaxed.
If the yogi needs to discuss anything, please raise your hand.
Okay.
Report number 2, Venerable Swami Vahansa. This also has 3 parts, Bhante. Walking meditation, concentrated on left and right, felt the coldness of the floor. When walking on the choir mat, felt the hardness. Though there were sounds, it didn't disturb the meditation. But sometimes recent past events comes to the mind. Sitting meditation, sitting in sukha posture. Paid attention to nostrils. Felt air was passing in and out as pumping through a tube. Concentrated on that. Later, I didn't feel it, but I knew I am breathing. Mind was calm. After some time, I understood that I have been sleeping. My head was bent to the front. Again started meditation. Same thing happened. Honorable Bhante, please advise me to overcome this problem. Thero Saranai.
Yeah, this is pretty common. I mean, if you are coming from a very busy life schedule, and once you come here and just watching the breath, easily fall into sleep. So that's a very, very common problem. So that's why we need to engage more into walking meditation, such kind of activities, and be mindful in various other daily activities. Because otherwise, what happens is that the falling asleep is quite common, and you think that you are meditating, but ultimately you are sleeping. So that is one thing you can do is introduce some more investigation. because there are a few things like investigation, improvement of the investigation, and introducing this noting, little verbalizing. It's not through your mouth, but mentally you are verbalizing each and every activity. Say if it is in breath, you can simply verbalize it, like note it as in. When it is out, maybe out. So likewise, you are introducing a little bit of mental activity rather than quietly observing, which can prone more into the sleepiness. Now you are introducing this little mental activity with little verbalization that might reduce the sloth and torpor. And the other thing is probably you can choose an outside place to meditate rather than being in the inside. And you can, before you sit, you can drink some hot water or maybe a coffee or tea or something like that. Just will also activate the mind. So these are the little things. And if nothing going to work, then better get up and walk. But on the other hand, on certain occasions are there that you have to go through it, because you know that the meditation is doing pretty well, and at a given occasion, the breath become more subtler and subtler. At that case, if you are, say, getting up, thinking that now I am getting to falling asleep, then that's wrong. So even if you fall asleep, you need to go through it in a short duration and then try to get up in case, and then you can go through, because otherwise what happens is you will never go through this subtle state of the object. So the primary object becomes subtler and subtler, the breath becomes subtler and subtler, maybe rising and falling becomes subtler and subtler. That also a stage that you need to recognize, maintain a very refined attention. In order to do that, you need to maintain very sharp mindfulness. So we need to develop it. You need to go through that stage. If you are again and again getting up and go to the walking session, then you will never encounter that state. So you have to do a little bit of experiment here, how to overcome the sleepiness, and then go through even this subtle stage of the, say, breathing without falling asleep. It will take some time, by the way, but with practice you can overcome it anyway.
Third part of that report, mindfulness. I used to practice mindfulness in my day-to-day activities. While in washroom, cooking and cleaning, I try to keep my mind to the activity I do. It helps in sitting meditation.
Yeah, good. So, I mean, even there you can see what are the subtle aspects. If time permits, you can see certain small, little details, so that will improve your clear comprehension. Rather than just being mindful, add some clear comprehension, recognizing some subtle details, then your understanding or that sharpness of the mindfulness, the concentration will further improve.
Report number 3. Dear Bhante, walking meditation was done without any problem. Concentrated on bottom of the foot touching the ground. So many incidents came to my mind when walking. I can do sitting meditation only about 15 minutes in same posture, but after that I get pains in knees and legs. I want to know whether it is allowed to change the posture when getting pain.
Yeah, it depends actually. If you are frequently changing the posture, that's also not going to work. So at least you can maintain 15 minutes continuously without changing the posture. That is much better. So it will anyway improve as you develop your practice. At the beginning, as you know, the changing posture you may have to go through. You have to use various aids to maintain the posture. But with time, you can expand it. Maybe 15, then 20 minutes, then 30 minutes, 35 minutes. So likewise, you have to stretch the period of time that you are maintaining. What's the other thing mentioned? And walking, actually, you haven't explained any experience, by the way. You have just mentioned, okay, I have done walking meditation well. How well? How do you know? How we know?
She says so many incidents come to my mind when walking.
Some incidents have come. But anyway, so what we expect is to explain your experience. Say, while walking, so what you have experienced. It's true that various incidents came to your mind, but while you are walking properly, What is your experience, say, for your souls, what is your experience? Have you gone through any shifting of weight from one leg to the other? Or have you experienced any movements, any vibrations, hardness, softness, etc.? So these are the juice of the practice. You need to explain it a little bit. Then only the other person can know, okay, he has tried that. To some extent it was successful. So that is the most important part.
Day to day, when I do gardening, I keep my mind on it. I try to do it while eating too. While eating too. But when washing face, I forget most of the time.
Good. So you should wash the face, by the way. Then you will be able to be mindful about it.
Report number 4. Honorable Swamin Vahansa. Walking meditation. Started from one end of the walking path. Was able to concentrate the feet alternatively. I felt the difference when I walk in the choir mat on the sand path. On choir mat, I felt the knots of the choir mat very sharply, and it was like hard and painful at the beginning. But with time, it was fine. In the sand path, I felt the major parts of my both soles touching the sand. Sand path was very comfortable, and as I noticed, the arch of my soles are not touching the ground. I was able to concentrate a long period, and sometimes I noticed my body is moving forward without my knowledge. Sitting meditation. I think compared to the walking meditation, my concentration power is very weak in sitting meditation. After 6 to 7 months of meditation practice, I can only feel my exhalation part of the breath. Still, I can't feel whether it is warm or cold, long or short. Trying to feel inhalation of air touching the sati nimitta, but I haven't felt it still. Maybe my meditation practice time is not enough. However, Swamin Vahansa, please advise. Satimat Bhava mindfulness. I have noticed that most of my day-to-day activities, I can be mindful when I am having meals and during other activities. I can keep my mindfulness for a long period. I feel the taste of the food more compared to earlier, and I also noticed that I have reduced the quantity of food I eat.
Looks good. You might lose the weight also. Anyway, I felt that if you can change the meditation object and see, that's also another alternative, because it seems that you have mentioned that for a long time you tried Anapanasati but didn't have much development. Probably you can shift your attention to the abdomen and see whether you are able to recognize the rising and falling of the abdomen. That might be easier. So you can try that also. So forget about Anapanasati. Just allow the body to breathe naturally and keep your attention at the abdomen. And see whether you are able to recognize the rising part. As we breathing in, the abdomen comes forward, the rising. And then as we breathe out, it's falling back, the falling part. So if you are able to maintain your attention there, probably you may be able to easily develop mindfulness. Later, if you want, you can shift to Anapanasati, but even that is not essential. You can go through rising and falling continuously and then end up into the elements meditation, Dhatu Manasikara. It will easily take you there. So as a suggestion, I like to suggest you to change the meditation object and see. Might be helpful, might be easier. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
Actually, I was trying hard to concentrate on the breathing. I can jolly well feel the exhalation, but inhalation part, it's trying very hard, but I couldn't feel it.
So you can't feel it. So by the way, when you are trying to observe inhalation part, is your mind wandering or?
No, I still can't feel they are going.
Can't feel, but is the mind wandering? No.
No.
So you are able to maintain a calm, relaxed mind even though you can't feel the breath.
it, yes.
Okay. That's then there is no harm, because you know that even currently the acceleration is possible to experience. That also may disappear.
All right.
That also will become subtler and subtler. Ultimately, you can't even feel that.
Yeah.
So have you felt the inhalation and exhalation both some time back?
Yes.
You felt?
Yes.
Okay, then don't change. I mean,
So
change in the
I
sense,
try
don't
to-
change the primary meditation object. Continue with the breathing.
Yeah.
You know that the inhalation and exhalation both will become subtler and subtler. Ultimately, completely fade away. You can't then trace whether it is in-breath or out-breath. So likewise, the things will change to the kind of subtle and ultimately disappear. So during that time, if you are able to probably you can look at the mind if both disappear. Otherwise, you can simply maintain your attention at the nostril. So during your session, are you feeling any kind of bodily sensations, or just
Nothing.
you are looking at the breath?
Nothing. Only
Nothing. Only breathing.
Only breathing.
How long are you practicing?
Now about for the last 7-8 months.
7-8 months.
Yeah.
How about your walking practice? Walking?
Walking is actually good. Actually, I have now improved a lot. I can concentrate.
You mean, from this end to the other end, are you able to walk mindfully
Yes.
without distractions?
Yes.
Okay. So what are the information that you gathered?
Walking, actually, I can feel now difference between the different areas, even
Right.
and also the hardness, softness, and sometimes I feel my body is moving without kind of knowledge.
Right.
But only thing is, compared to walking, the sitting, I feel I have not improved in recent.
No, I think the sitting is more into the concentration side, because it's more subtle and you are trying to keep your attention here, but the breathing being a very subtle object, you are unable to either you are unable to experience it, or your mindfulness has improved but the meditation object becomes subtler and subtler. Ultimately it will even disappear. So don't worry. I think it seems like okay. Yeah. No need to change it to the rising and falling. Then continue with breathing. Only thing is, even if both disappear, see whether are you falling asleep or you are trying to introduce some purposeful breathing. So you should not do that.
Okay.
So let the breathing completely disappear, but you need to be here without any distraction.
Okay. Nissarana.
Yeah. Come please.
Bhante, with my sitting meditation, I also have a certain experience like that. I can't sort of feel that it is warm or a cold breath, but still I can feel it's short or long,
Right.
as well as I can concentrate on a particular point at your nostril. That is
you
there.
can.
But
You
still,
can?
but still I can't feel the temperature part of that.
Temperature.
Yeah. But of course, when I do continuously, it's slowly disappearing my sort of, the gaps between.
Right.
That happens actually.
Okay. Seems okay. How about your, thinking part now?
Which one?
Thinking? Still thinking too much or less thinking now?
Thinking part, you mean?
Thinking, yes.
It is depending on the day. Sometimes, some days, I used to, it comes to me thoughts sometimes maybe a little faster, but certain times, certain days, it's
Less.
very calm and quiet. But at that point, I used to watch my mind. So then it is becoming more,
Reducing.
more peaceful and tranquil.
If it is successful, then you can keep watching the mind, because watching the mind is a kind of a useful thing.
Yeah.
Only thing is, if we don't have enough mindfulness and clear comprehension, we easily get tempted by the thoughts and we start being driven by the thoughts.
Actually speaking, when thought comes, I can understand, I really observe that it is wholesome, unwholesome,
Right.
all these things are happening.
Right.
Sometimes I get itchiness here and there, and
Right.
all kind of those things also happening, but I used to sort of observe those body sensations.
Right. So are you observing the body sensations as well as time to time watching the mind?
Yes, because it is switching.
Okay, that's all right.
Right.
That's all right. Because we are, either in the Chitta Anupassana, either in the Vedana Anupassana or Ka Anupassana, All are in the Satipatthana, nothing to worry.
Yeah, but I am using one of the keywords that you have mentioned in the book. Stay with the body.
Stay with the... No, that is necessary only at the first stage.
Yeah.
Now at the beginning it's difficult to recognize thoughts, and even if you try, easily you get distracted and you easily being driven by the thoughts. Yeah. But later, as a result of your body-based practice, your mindfulness and clear comprehension is improved. Naturally you start watching the mind, and you are not being driven by the thoughts. Thoughts become weaker and weaker. Ultimately they will fade away. Are you experiencing that now?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. That is the time where the mindfulness is pretty sharp. Yeah. You can recognize thoughts as mere thoughts, and they will naturally fade away then, because you are not promoting them, you are not strengthening them.
Yeah, definitely my mind is not getting proliferation with those thoughts.
Right.
That is
right. Then continue that, no problem. Yeah, Nissarana.
Report number 5. Theruvan Saranai Swamin Wahansa. Walking meditation. My walking meditation sessions last for about 30 minutes. In between and in the end, I feel little My walking meditation sessions last for about 30 minutes. In between and in the end, I feel little tremors and sensations like small balls are moving up and down in calf muscles. Blood circulation in some areas, within brackets head, chest, arms, etc. Heartbeat and irritations in feet. I try to understand the difference of these various sensations.
Yeah, fine. That is good. And obvious sensations also you can see, like your foot is touching the ground, because you have mentioned only the the internal type of sensations, but the obvious sensations are there when your foot is touching the ground. So various the direct touch related experiences are also there. Observe them as well.
Sitting meditation. In general, I do for about 1 hour, and sometimes the session goes for more than that. I experience at the beginning many thoughts coming to mind, but I attempt to concentrate the breath in between the long, lengthy breaths in the beginning and gradually shortening of breaths, and after 25 to 30 minutes maybe, I experience very short breaths with no sensation of the body but the breaths. Rarely experience like body was becoming shrinked and the focus of the mind was only on the breaths. Bhante, please advise me on how I can improve the practices from these points onward. Oba Wahansegeta Parami Pireva. Theruvan Saranai.
Right. Now you have mentioned that you are able to watch the breath. So what is your experience related to the breath? Say, if you can explain a little bit. Yeah, she's there.
Yes, Bhante, Theruvan Saranai.
Yeah.
Yes, from the beginning actually I can concentrate on the breath.
Right.
But sometimes I struggle very much to capture the breath, locate the point, in the nostril, where I can feel...
No. Thing is, immediately don't try to locate the position.
Yeah.
Rather try to first establish mindfulness. Say, for example, continuously for 20, 30, 40 breaths, if you can simply maintain your attention here, just merely recognizing in breath and out breath, in breath and out breath, just mere recognition of that.
I can do.
Then you slowly build up the concentration.
Yeah.
As a result of your practice, slowly you will build up the concentration. Later, now you feel confident. Okay, now mind is less distracted, and sufficiently you are maintaining your attention continuously at the nostril. Then later you can try. Okay, where is it touching?
Right.
Because
actually, I was from the beginning. I was trying.
That's difficult actually.
Very difficult.
Very difficult.
And also, Bhante, now I am quite a new beginner to Anapanasati.
Right.
Started 6-7 months back, maybe one year.
Right.
Just trying very slowly.
Right.
And I feel like I am moving. My mind is moving with the inhale and exhale.
You mean with the inhale you are going to the lungs and all?
Yes. Sometimes I feel like that, and when I learned this from Mitirigala, I try to focus only onto the nostril.
Correct.
And then normally in the first, sometimes it goes like 30 minutes maybe. I was trying very much to figure out,
location.
To concentrate on the breath, because a lot of things come to mind. Yeah, and
That's
then with the time, my concentration goes up, improves, and then finally, at several times, I have felt like I was only, focusing on the breath. Body is not felt.
Right.
And sometimes once I experience I am sitting in a bigger ball, lighter ball, and I was a very small object there, like a small ball, and then got sunk the body, very, very
short period,
like 4-5 seconds maybe.
And you mean before that, have you seen something in front of you, kind of a light or kind
white,
of a shade or something like that?
Light. Yeah, light.
Okay.
Brighter
anyway,
thing.
so that is the direction towards the samatha meditation, where you see a certain light or kind of a sign.
It's like a ball.
Ball, exactly. Yeah.
And then I was like a small ball here.
Correct. Yeah. And this small ball get merged with the large ball.
That I didn't experience. And I was still trying to figure out what is happening. What's happening.
Correct.
I was trying to keep my mind very, active and
attentive.
Attentive.
Yeah. So that's the important thing actually. Now, if you merely look at the breath at a surface level without penetrating it, you are more biased towards the samatha side. You are merely maintaining your concentration, but without much penetrative type of the skill.
Yeah, so at all the time I was trying to hang on the breath.
Hang on the breath.
Yeah, hang on the breath.
While you are observing breathing, see what are the subtle characteristics in it. Anyway, you have tried that from the beginning, that where it is touching. So not from the beginning. From the beginning, about. Is your session completely 1 hour or?
No, goes long, like 1 hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, like sometimes, very rarely. But normally I get failed and I give up. Sometimes after 30 minutes.
So at the beginning, about 15 minutes, just establish mindfulness very, with a very soft manner, gentle manner, by looking at mere breath. Just to maintain, just to build up the concentration at the nostril, just recognizing in breath, out breath, without much effort. In effort in the sense, you are not trying to see where it is locating, where it is being touched, but rather you are trying to build up the concentration.
Generally.
Yeah. So simply know, now it is in breath, now it is out breath, now it is in breath, now it is out breath, like that. If you are doing that, assume that you will reach after 15 minutes. Now you can continuously watch maybe 100 breaths or something like that. Then you build up the confidence that now I have less distractions. Now the mind is well collected, concentrated, and then you can see where is it touching and whether it is longer, shorter, from which nostril it is going in, from which nostril it is going out. So whether it is warm or cool, all these are very subtle attributes. Now you can try to retrieve from the breathing process. Then you are very much like going parallelly. You are developing a certain amount of tranquility as well as the wisdom. So some kind of a parallel type of meditation. Sometimes we call it a yuganad, where the samatha and vipassana, certain attributes of samatha is also there, vipassana is also there.
And one thing, actually, I don't know whether I am taking much time, but sometimes I try to concentrate on the pains. And once I felt like I was lighting a torch to scrutinize like a pain here when I was meditating here last time.
Right.
And that happens like for 1 or 2 seconds it goes.
Right.
And the pain, the Vedananupassana also I am trying.
Now, if you can try that, no harm.
Yeah.
And recognize some other sensation in case that tingling sensations or vibrations, in case they are available in the body. Time to time you can look at it and see. Yeah. Nissarana.
Report number 6, walking meditation. Attention was fully paid on movement of legs. Mind was concentrated on it in different ways. When the idea linked with walking, it is easy. Movement of legs were comparatively faster than when the same was complex. The latter encouraged the automation in walking while prioritizing other elements.
Can you read it again?
Attention was fully paid on movement of legs. Mind was concentrated on it in different ways. When the ideas linked with walking, it is easy. Movement of legs were comparatively faster than when the same was complex.
Same was complex. So actually this is a very simple activity. So why is it becoming complex? So are you making it complex? So may I know who has written it? Anybody? Yeah. Thero. What did you mean by complex?
Complex in the sense I try to find out certain aspects, we can say theories,
right,
in Satara Satipatthana, just like Trilakshana and
no.
these things. Then I found that as an example, like this simple example, not theories like that. Now, left and right, it was quite easy.
Easy, right.
And soon I can forget that I was walking.
Right.
And but when I was thinking,
even though you forget that you are walking, where is your attention?
Attention was on walking.
That's fine then, no problem then.
Yeah. Then the other one is a very simple one. The other one I compared is lifting, moving, and landing. When I compared that with the former, I found out that this makes my walking slower,
right,
and slower like that. So that is certain new experience for me.
No problem.
Consciously,
Which
I
one
felt.
you prefer?
I preferred the former. That short one, simple one, simplest one.
Good.
And because I could easily forget about thinking.
Forget about
thinking. Thinking consciously, purposely, and with some sort of attempt.
Okay.
No need to do that.
Okay. So if I summarize, so you can quickly forget about thinking. Now the no thinking at all, you can quieten the mind. With a quietened mind, you can observe walking. Use the first method.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. Hari.
That is something I found. It is a new experience
Good.
for me.
So
then I found,
now after that, what are you doing? Say there is no thinking now. You are able to continuously pay attention to walking. So what are you experiencing? What are you trying next?
Anyway, I found out that there was little automation also. I don't know whether I am wording it correctly.
Right.
And
automation in the sense the body walks by itself?
Yeah, but I know that I was walking.
Right.
But it was not felt. It was not felt.
Good. So by the way, so your attention should be not really attention. Your intention should be to recognize more and more details, by the way. Because now the mind is well concentrated, you might not feel much the body, but little sensations are there. The foot is touching the ground, maybe the ankle first, maybe the sides next, and the tossness, like that. Certain details are there. So try to figure out what are those subtle sensations, where the touching happen, what is the touching is like. Is it more gross, or it is more refined? Or is it more hot or cold or something like that? So figuring out that detail is very, very important, very critical. Because otherwise you are more into the concentration side. Now fair amount of concentration is available to you using the first method, no harm. So once you reach there, now it's pretty good, the mind also calm, no thinking. Now you need to introduce the recognition of all these subtle details. Very important, that part. So overall, are you sort of improving? Are you feeling that you are practice is improving?
Yeah, I feel so even when I use that complex theory in the sense that anitya dukkha anatma.
No, that's the other thing. Now you don't need to purposely introduce anitya dukkha anatma. So that is, now it will naturally happen to you. So rather than you introducing it, now that's the path. Now say you have certain amount of mindfulness, then you again have the concentration, and now you do the investigation. So what you are investigating are the the phenomena, various either bodily phenomena, then feelings or sensations, say perceptions, thoughts. Now by observing them, there you can understand through their behavior. You are directly experiencing them, you are directly observing their behavior. Through that investigation, you will understand the impermanent nature, you will understand the unsatisfactory nature, you will understand the non-self nature. So that is how you are experientially understanding these three characteristics. It is not that you are trying to forcefully make it impermanent, unsatisfactory, non-self. Rather, you allow them to behave the way they want, and then you understand how they are behavior. So based on that, you will have a deeper understanding about their true nature. It is not that we are trying to forcefully, force them to be impermanent. Rather, they are naturally impermanent. So that is the lesson that they are teaching us. So we have to be kind of a very unbiased type of an observer. So don't introduce your own, this previous knowledge into the picture. Rather, allow the incident to naturally unfold. So you don't need to introduce any of your previous knowledge, and let them unfold naturally. And through the observation, you will understand how impermanent they are, how unsatisfactory they are, how non-self, non-governable they are. So then you can say, I have experientially understood anitya dukkha anatta. So that is the important thing.
While walking also, I felt at certain places I found stones and I found it as dukkha. And I felt very hard, sometimes very hard, and at such places I thought like that in terms of this.
No, not that I am talking. So first, it is not typically you come across dukkha first, rather you first come across the impermanence first. Because you see that they are, how vulnerable they are, how quickly changing they are, how transient they are, how quickly arising and passing away they are. So that type of an understanding, experiential understanding, will tempt you to understand, so they are really impermanent. So that is a kind of a convincing type of impermanence that you will understand.
Anyhow, what I have understood is more thinking makes it difficult. And
don't introduce thinking at all. Because now, say in the walking meditation, you said that the thinking has stopped, right? Mind has become quiet. Keep it as it is. So you should never introduce thinking when the meditation is happening thoroughly, properly. Don't introduce thinking at all. The insight is kind of like this. So as you are maintaining very quiet mind and with the investigation, you will get an insight. Something. What's that? Figure. What? Aha moment. So that she knows that. Ask from her. Aha moment. So you need to come across that aha moment. That's the insight. So don't try to forcefully put it in the picture. Okay. Thero said that. Yeah.
With the sitting also. Her sitting meditation.
Yeah.
Found difficulties in concentration compared to walking meditation. Experience sudden, quick, speedy throws of hands.
I did. Read it again.
Found difficulties in concentration compared to walking meditation.
Right.
Experience sudden, quick, speedy throws of hands.
Throws of hands. Understood. Understood. Yes. It can happen. Are you feeling it often or rare? Quite often?
Quite often it's felt.
Can you show it?
When I keep my hands like that,
yeah.
I found it like.
I mean, how often? Like how many times per hour?
Once in 5 to 10 minutes.
Once in 5 to 10 minutes.
At that moment, something goes in the whole body. I cannot say what that is.
So you're practicing anapanasati?
Yeah. Anapanasati.
What happened to the breath?
Breath is quite okay. I could concentrate, but I have told, unlike in walking meditation, I found difficulties in concentration. When I found my mind was going without, that means certain discipline, that means it was not with me, it was going here and there. But whenever I could find reasons behind that, I could easily avoid that. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I found that I could not find reasons. I had never experienced something like that, but it was showing something I had never experienced. At that moment, no reasons, then I found difficult.
Don't worry about it. I mean, so these are various visualizations can happen. Just ignore them. So don't add any value to them. Don't try to name them. This is beautiful something or that. So don't label them. Just come back to the breath. So these are some other, type of perversions available in the mind. So it also can happen. Rather than being deluded by them, just understand these are mere type of delusions. These are illusions. So these are temptations. I don't need to worry about it. You come back to the body. Come back to the breath. Seems all right.
Reflective question. How could Satara Satipatthana can be linked together in walking meditation and sitting meditation based on Anapana to see beyond what is physically felt?
What is physically felt? So questions are very sharp, right? Actually, this whole physically felt phenomena belongs to body, the Kayanupassana. So what we are trying to do is through Kayanupassana, we are trying to understand the depth of the Rupa Khanda, Rupupadana Khanda. So the 5 aggregates are there. So the first aggregate is a Rupupadana Khanda. So the body is a sample of it. So we are trying to understand more and more details about the body and its behavior, and then we are thoroughly understand the Rupupadana Khanda. And if you are trying to understand the behavior of the feelings, then we are trying to understand the feelings upadana khanda, the vedana upadana khanda. And when you are trying to investigate the mind, then you are getting to the other, the perceptions, formations, and then the consciousness, all that will be covered. So these are pretty interconnected. All 5 aggregates are also interconnected, and whatever the physical sensations are actually part of the Rupa Upadana Khanda, or even the feelings, the Vedana Upadana Khanda. Yeah.
Report number 7. Theruvan Saranai Bhante. Walking meditation. I started walking meditation according to your guidance. First I walked along the walking path, noticing the left and the right of the foot, feeling the sensations of roughness and the toughness of the walking mat. At the end of the walking path, I realized that I am going to turn and started to scan the body after turning. Then proceeded. Did walking meditation for about 20 minutes. Sitting meditation. After walking meditation, I started the sitting posture. I closed my eyes and scanned my body. I started with Anapanasati sensing my upper lips with nostrils. Few minutes later, I noticed that no images and emptiness could be seen lasting for 15 minutes. In my practice, I observed the good results can be seen after walking meditation to sitting posture, and day-to-day activities easily can be done mindfully and more efficiently after doing meditation. Theruvan Saranai.
I think it's all right. So there is nothing much to add. So it seems like you are doing well. Is that all? Some more?
Report number 8. Dear Bhante, during sitting meditation, after settling, when a thought comes, just thinking it's just a mere thought and stopped thinking. Is that enough or is that correct?
Yeah. Now, thing is, it depends on your practice. So, at the beginning, you might not be able to understand the full life cycle of a thought. So, what you can see is the kind of a gross outer appearance of the thought. So you are simply saying it's a mere thought, and it might help you to avoid any kind of a temptation, any kind of a adding value to it and being trapped in it. So it's a mere thought, just a thought. But later you are supposed to look at it thoroughly, in detail. So how a thought is coming or how the thought is appearing, and are you adding more thoughts into it, or are you able to simply look at the thought without any participation? Then you can see the thought is or have the nature to come and be there for a while and then naturally fade away. So then you are observing it with a sharp mindfulness, clear comprehension, with a quiet mind. Even though thoughts are coming, you are very much like distanced from the experience. Thoughts are mere thoughts. You are like an outsider. So the practice actually evolves towards that direction.
Report number 9. Dear Bhante, is it good to think about impermanence nature of ayatana? Please explain salayatana anityatava.
Now that's actually the ayatana bhavana. You can you can read ayatana pabbha in the Dhammanupassana. So there, the point is you are very much like you are type of a guarding person, where you are, whenever your eye contact happens, you are fully aware of that. When ear contact happens, you are fully aware of that. Nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, mind contact. So you are very much like guarding each and every sense base, watching each and every sense base. So assume that now you are walking and your eyes are open and you saw something. Immediately a thought happened, a desire happened, or something like that. So you can understand, okay, there is an impingement of the object. I mean the visual object, and now the eye is also very much like functioning, but a thought also has arisen. Kind of maybe a defilement also has arisen. So if you are able to recognize all three, then that's all right. Then you can see probably defilement is a mere defilement. A thought is a thought. So if you are able to look at it like that, the thought may be disappearing, and that what you have seen also might fade away. The eye function, that seen function also might have faded away. So likewise you can try that, but I prefer, rather than trying to say, okay, you look at the outside visual object and inside eye, I prefer to emphasize the defilement part. So that you can do by mere observing the mind. You are simply observing the mind, and thoughts are coming, and then you simply watch it, and then thoughts would disappear, and you don't need to much worry about the outside object and the inside eye, because you are very much like landing on the mind. You can simply see the mind. I feel that would be much easier than trying to figure out all three aspects: external object, internal eye, and then the defilement, all three together. Understanding that would be a little complicated, but just mere watching the mind and recognizing are there any thoughts because of this interaction? Are there any thoughts? If there are no thoughts, you can simply maintain that empty mind, no harm. So that's my preference. You can try, by the way. Some people are quite happy to see the interaction between the eye and the visual object, sound and the ear, smell and the nose, taste and the tongue, tangible and the body, thought and the mind. So some people are interested in, and some teachers are also promoting it. But I feel it a little complicated. But mere watching the mind would be much easier. It's up to you. Okay, so those are the questions we have received. If there are no more questions, we can wind up the session. Fine? Okay. Then we'll wind up the session, and as usual, we'll have the Dhamma sermon at 4 p.m. Thero Vanaya.